I mean, what's your profit margin, Ms. Kirkpatrick?
It's circa 50%.
Mr. Sheedy?
Slightly higher.
It's higher than 50% profit margin?
Slightly higher than MasterCard, yes.
Yeah, that's incredible. 50% profit margin. I mean, that's absolutely unbelievable. What's the answer to the Walmart question, by the way, that Senator Welch posed to you? What's Walmart's interchange fee that you negotiate with them?
I don't have it with me today.
You don't have any idea whatsoever? Is it higher or lower than 2.5%?
Walmart negotiates their rates based on the business that they do with us.
Meaning they're big, they're really big, they're gigantic, so they get a better deal than Mr. Callahan or most small businesses in Missouri. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, Senator, we have volume discounts that we offer to some merchants. I suspect Walmart is one of them. And I don't believe that it's commercially unreasonable to get an arrangement where in exchange for more volume, a merchant can qualify for lower rates?
Well, I'm sure it's not commercially unreasonable for Walmart, or certainly it's in their financial interest and in yours, but I doubt it's in Mr. Callahan's financial interest. And my question to you, Mr. Callahan, is when you've got Walmart and other major competitors getting charged much less than you are, why in the world would you stick with these guys? I mean, why is it that small businesses continue to use Visa and MasterCard when you're getting charged so much more?
It's in my opinion, it's a matter of convenience for the customer, and customers matter to our business.
Maybe is it because that Visa and MasterCard are effectively monopolies? They control 80% of the market?
Certainly part of the
80% of the market? I'm just having a hard time understanding, Mr. Sheedy and Ms. Kirkpatrick, you have a business model, you're making over 50% profit margin. You are able to give the shaft to small businesses. Estimated cost to Missouri businesses from these fees is $1.5 billion. That's with a B, billion dollars a year. Why aren't all of these businesses running away from this model? Because they don't have a choice, because you control so much of the market. This is classic monopolistic behavior, and yet your testimony here today is you don't want any competition. You have 80% of the market, but you don't want any more competition. I'm having a hard time finding that position defensible, let alone sympathetic. I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of money that you're making. It's unbelievable what you're charging small businesses and consumers, and yet your testimony is, please, we can't possibly have any competition. I mean, let's talk about what you're doing to consumers who hold your cards. Last year, as I understand it, there were 726 million Visa and MasterCard credit cards issued in the United States. That's about 2 for every 1 person in the United States of America. Do either of you know how much debt is owed on your networks, Ms. Kirkpatrick?
We're not the bank, so we don't have visibility into that information. We also don't generate revenue from interchange.
Oh, okay, you have no idea. Mr. Sheedy, do you know?
I don't know.
Well, let me help you out. Let's have a look. It's $1.17 trillion. $1.17 trillion is what consumers now owe on your credit card networks. Do either of you know what the average interest rate is on your networks? Mr. Kirkpatrick?
Oh, Senator, we're not the bank. We don't set the interchange.
I know,
we don't set the
benefit
rates
from it, and you know. Do you know what it is? This is your business model.
We don't collect revenue from interest rates.
Do you know?
I don't, Senator.
I mean, do either of you read the newspaper? Forbes magazine just estimated last week that the average credit card APR in your networks is 28.75%. Average. 29%, let's call it. 29%. It's nearly doubled in the last 4 years. That is astounding. Absolutely astounding. And you just testified a second ago that you've got more than 50% profit margin, and yet your testimony here today is you can't possibly survive if there's any competition. How can that be true? How can that be true? You've got debt like we've never seen before in American history. Your profit margins are as higher than they've ever been. You have 80% of the relevant market in the credit card interchange fees that we're talking about, and yet you couldn't survive if there's any competition? What am I missing? That's not a rhetorical question. How is it that you can't do any better?
Senator, we like competition very much. As my colleague from MasterCard mentioned, we don't loan money to consumers. That's the job of the banks. I will say, as it relates to small business, we care very much. And the pandemic was difficult on small business more than anyone. In 2022, we lowered rates for 90% of small businesses in the United States. I also think that many of the security and the digital features that have been put in the network help small businesses.
Wait a minute, but wait a minute. My time is almost expired. I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But hold on just a second. You've increased the swipe fees consistently in the last few years. You've raised them, even as your network has expanded, even as your profit margins have gone up. You've raised the swipe fees. And in terms of competition, you are paying competitors not to enter the market. The DOJ lawsuit says that you threaten retailers with staggering financial penalties. That's a quote, staggering financial penalties if they use a competitor, and you're paying Apple and Square and others not to compete in your market. You've got 80% market share, and you are paying off would-be competitors not to come into the market while you charge people like Mr. Callahan, who knows how much more than big entities like Walmart. I mean, this is just classic collusive monopoly behavior. And your testimony is you can't accept any more competition. I agree with one thing that my colleagues down the dais have said, which is that this is not a sustainable situation. It is not sustainable. This has to change. 1.17 trillion in debt, this has to change. And I'll just end with this, Mr. Chairman. I thought one of the best proposals that the President-elect Trump, made during his last campaign, his most recent campaign, was to cap the interest rates of credit cards. So we could do that. We could do this and that. I think it's a great idea. I don't know why 30% interest rate should be charged on debt like this. I don't understand it. And I don't understand why you won't accept the smallest modicum of competition when it comes to these retailer fees. And I'm just here to tell you, this will not stand. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'll start out with you, Mr. Cantor. Last time we discussed this topic in the committee, you agreed we needed more antitrust enforcement in the area. It is actually fitting that Senator Grassley and I are both here because he and I worked very hard for years and years to pass our bill to change the merger fees to charge less on small mergers, more on big ones. We finally passed that through the Senate. I think we're finally seeing the fruition of some of this to our agencies. However, we want to make sure that we keep the pressure on as a new administration starts, that this has been a bipartisan effort beyond the topic of this hearing. Since then, we've seen the Justice Department suing Visa for the monopolization of debit card network services. The FTC entered a consent decree with MasterCard, not to mention a pending settlement in a private antitrust lawsuit. How has the increased enforcement benefited merchants and consumers? What areas do you believe that enforcers, as we go into a new administration, need to focus on?
Thank you, Senator. And first of all, thank you for your thought leadership on these antitrust issues. It's incredibly helpful across a range of things. Enforcement has helped. Certainly the FTC's action with MasterCard has been helpful, and it's not the first time they've had to weigh in on this. There were issues with Visa and MasterCard and the point-of-sale providers getting in the way of competition on debit cards as well. We very much welcome the Department of Justice suit against Visa. Obviously, that has to play out. We'll see where that goes. But I think what's telling here is that the DOJ lawsuit is only on debit cards, even though Wall Street Journal story just after that came out shows much of similar behavior applies to credit cards as well. The problem is, on credit cards, there's no underlying competitive dynamic or law that creates some competitive market economics here. We need that. That's why we need this bill, is so that the enforcers can do their job like they're doing on debit cards.
Thank you very much. Professor Alford, when you served in the Justice Department's Antitrust Division, the Supreme Court created new rules in the Ohio v. American Express case, dictating how antitrust enforcers must evaluate two-sided markets. If you could quickly answer, because I have one other question, how has this decision affected the ability of antitrust enforcers to deter anti-competitive conduct in two-sided platform markets?
Yeah, two-sided platform markets. Thank you for your question. Two-sided platform markets are basically where there's a simultaneous transaction that happens in which the fee happens and it affects both the merchant and the buyer at the same time. As a result of that decision, now there's been incredible difficulty about market definitions, and it's much more difficult now to determine what the market definitions are for antitrust cases. And therefore, that's been a difficult issue with respect to how to enforce anti-competitive conduct with respect to these credit card companies.
Okay, thank you. I'll follow up in writing. I recently introduced a bill, the Preventing Algorithmic Collusion Act, to ensure that middlemen do not use algorithms to circumvent our price-fixing laws to raise prices, such as coordinating rent hikes among landlords. While credit card networks do not collect interchange fees, they do set the interchange fee charged by issuing banks to most merchants. Mr. Sheedy, can you elaborate on how the fees are determined and the considerations involved in the process? And do you use algorithms that process data derived from issuing banks?
The first question, the factors that we bring into interchange is really all facets of the business. We start with understanding the competitive environment. We would like for the card to be accepted as broadly as it can be accepted. The merchant point of view is very important and a huge part of how Visa has positioned itself historically as being accepted in more locations. There's a big part of how we think about interchange fees in terms of encouraging the adoption of new technology. So we create incentives in the fee structure. We consider them incentives. Some people might consider them penalties, but if you can adopt a new technology that reduces risk and takes fraud out of the system and improves streamlined processing, then you would qualify for lower interchange rates. And that's a big part of the structure. We do spend quite a bit of time understanding the needs of the 4,000 credit card issuers across the United States, all of our clients, the costs that they incur in supporting consumers. And it's very expensive to issue a product and to provide payment guarantee and online customer service, zero liability. All of those things and many more, Senator, get factored into interchange. I don't want to go on too far there because I want to get to the second part of your question, which is
algorithms.
We've invested significantly in the sophistication of our algorithms, AI included, and they are squarely and wholly focused on reducing fraud and addressing cyber risk in the system, which we've done very effectively. As I sit here, I can't think of anything that we do along the lines of what you're discussing that's outside of the area of driving network security and improving cyber risk in a very difficult time.
Okay, well, I'll follow up in writing because my colleagues have questions. But my concern is that in at least the work I've done in the rent area, that literally these are being used for a high-price, sophisticated price-fixing scheme because all these people are throwing their data in, and then another entity is figuring out what the price should be. And so they're actually coordinating all the information that's out there. So, thank you.